Dre's all over this project?
Dre's input is all over it, for sure. He felt like me and him had a couple discussions about the last album, and one of the things that he said to me was, like, he hit me up one day, he was like, yo, I don't like how motherfuckers are talking about your album. And he had heard Revival, right?
Yeah.
Him and Jimmy Iovine had sat in there and listened to most of the songs I had done at Rick Rubin's studio. And based off that reaction, I think Dre was a little confused too when that happened with Revival. Probably not more so than me, but we had a conversation earlier in the year, and I think I had only had one song by that time. This was like January.
Yeah.
I had the one song and was thinking about releasing it, and then wrote another song. When I got back to Detroit, recorded it. Like, okay, now I got two songs. I might as well do a fucking album. And that's kind of how that came about. But Dre also, there's a couple songs that he kind of deaded them just because he didn't have a good reaction to them, and he also felt like one of them was going a little far.
A song?
Hey, man.
What does that mean? Like, how far did it go?
It definitely went too far.
When you say go too far, I feel like Kamikaze was the place where if you were ever going to go so-called too far, this is where it would be. I know that Tyler was a big fan of yours growing up, right? And then I recall you even reading about you saying some good things about Our Future, how they're pushing boundaries years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
And you said some great things about them as a talent, as pushing boundaries, as a group, Our Future as a whole.
Yeah.
What happened with you guys?
Yeah, no, I really did like them. I thought, like, I thought their movement was really cool too.
Did y'all make music?
We didn't make music, but, you know, I just felt like, okay, there's a mutual respect, you know. And a lot of the shit that ended up happening after that, like the tweet he put out with talking about Shady 15 and why can't people that are close to him tell him that his shit sucks and it's trash. And I'm like, okay, listen, man, you don't have to like it. And it could really suck. But being that somebody really was cool to you, you would expect some kind of reciprocation, and just don't go public with it and publicly express your opinion and how much my shit is trash. Okay, so I chalk it up to them being young and just kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I was dick when I first came out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man, you were.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel bad about it. I'm sorry if I ever was a dick to you, but I don't think I ever was. Was I?
Yeah, one time, man. But hey.
Oh yeah, that's true. We won't talk about that.
Okay.
Nah, man. So I liked him, and then Earl Sweatshirt gets in an interview after Tyler trashes me, and then Earl Sweatshirt, anybody who listens to Eminem's drinking too much Mountain Dew, and I'm just like, really? Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys were just on tour with us. We hung out, like, we kicked it, make jokes, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the last straw, like, look, I know a lot of this shit. I could come across being very petty.
Yeah.
But at a certain point in time, someone has their breaking point. You know what I'm saying? So when Tyler tweeted out the thing about Walk on Water, this fucking song is horrible, I was like, all right, I need to say something now, because this is fucking stupid. You know? But at the same time, I'm not gonna let everybody just keep fucking, I'm not gonna be America's punching bag and motherfuckers just wanna think it's cool and safe to say whatever the fuck they want about me. You know, with the Tyler the Creator thing, man, I realize now, and I realized when I said it, but I wasn't like in the mind frame of, I was angry when I said the shit about Tyler. The fact of, like, every time I saw this kid, like, I'm always so cool to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I I loved his energy, like everything, you know what I'm saying? Like he was a funny dude, like he's super charismatic and shit. But I'm sitting back like, man, at what point do I have to say something just to defend myself? And I think that the word that I called him on the album on that song was one of the things where I felt like this might be too far. Because in my
the homophobic
in my
slur.
quest, in my quest to hurt him, I realized that I was hurting a lot of other people by saying it. And at the time I was so mad, it was just whatever. But in the midst of everything else that was going on this album and the things that it took to pull this album together and all that kind of shit, it was one of the things that I kept going back to going, I don't feel right with this. Before the album came out, I had the conversation with Paul and we spun the word back. But now I realize people can hear what I'm saying anyways.
In the case of this, man, I feel like just, man, I wish you and Tyler could sit down and hash that one out now that you fired your shot back and he said what he said, because I think that's a special young man and he could probably use your mentorship and you could probably feed off of what he has to offer as well. I could tell it's different from Joe or some of the other names.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's not as personal. It's one of them things like, all right, dude, you deserve a tap now because I think you thought it was cool to just, because you slid with the other things and I didn't say shit because like I said, I was chalking it up to them being young and just kids, man. I'm like, but at the same time, at what point do I just gotta keep taking this shit?
People took that line and thought you were indirectly talking about Drake.
What I'm telling you with these lines is, I don't know what's real and what's not at this point. I'm telling you that if I ever need a ghostwriter, I need to just fucking put the mic down.